followed by the Deputy Vice Chancellor of our great university, the person of Professor Gosi Arisa, and the Vice Chancellor, the person of Professor Jeremiah Oludele Ojediran. The national anthem and the university anthem.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign fatherland.
On the rock, the true foundation, stands a citadel erudition. Learning life builds university of tech, builds to employ. To strive towards academic excellence, save our society from eradication. Brighter future lies in technology, blowing up springs of vision. Share the dream, share the path, be like heroes of a prosperous nation. Praise and celebrate the prominence of science, blowing up springs of vision. Share the dream, share the path, be like heroes of a prosperous nation. Praise and celebrate the prominence of science, blowing up springs of vision.
Let's have a seat. The Vice Chancellor, sir, permit me to invite the Registrar of our great university, Mr. Lamiti Tafa, to establish the protocol for this 10th inaugural lecture to be delivered by Professor Daramola.
Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to establish the protocol for the 10th inaugural lecture holding today, Wednesday, 24th June 2026. The chief host and chairman of the occasion, who is the vice chancellor of the university, Professor Jeremiah Oludele Ojediran, the deputy vice chancellor, Professor Ngozi Arisa, the registrar, Mr. Lamidi Tafa, the bursar, Mr. Shino Adepojo, the university librarian, Dr. Felicia Yusuf, the inaugural lecturer, Professor Daramola, the dean of the College of Postgraduate Studies, Professor Olubukola Kuforeji, deans of colleges here present, deans of student affairs, members of Senate, professors here present, heads of department, distinguished guests, members of the family of the inaugural lecturer, staff and students of Bell's University of Technology, OTA, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Having established the protocol, permit me to recognize the presence of the former Deputy Vice Chancellors here, Professor Akunaya Opoko, former Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Francis Cho, former Vice Chancellor. Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to invite the Vice Chancellor for his opening remarks. Vice Chancellor, sir.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on the already well-established protocol by the registrar of our own great university. So it is with great pleasure and a deep sense of responsibility that I welcome you all to the 10th inaugural lecture of our university. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we gather to celebrate the exceptional scholarship of Professor Daramola and to honor his vital work in fisheries, public health, and food safety that underpins the health and prosperity of our community. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to begin by acknowledging the founding fathers of Bells University of Technology, Ota, the Board of Trustees, Council and all members of Council, and management past and present. It is worthy of note that their enduring wisdom and stewardship remind us of our duty to conduct research and teach with humility, respect, and commitment to the common good. The significance of this occasion, this inaugural lecture titled From Water to Table, Securing Safe, Wholesome Fish for Public Health, speaks directly to one of the most pressing challenges of our time, ensuring that food systems are safe, nutritious, sustainable, and accessible. Professor Daramola's work intersects environmental science, public health, aquaculture, and food safety. These are areas that are critical to Nigeria's food security and to global well-being. Today, ladies and gentlemen, this erudite lecturer will provide insights that can inform policy, improve industry, and empower communities to make healthier choices. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Daramola's contributions. Professor Daramola, in his publications, has advanced our understanding of the journey of fish from water to plate by examining water quality, aquacultural practices, contamination risks, processing standards, and consumer safety. His research translates into practical guidelines for hatcheries, farms, processors, and regulators, as well as engaging public education on safe seafood consumption. His leadership in this field embodies the university's commitment to rigorous inquiry that yields tangible benefits for the society. The role of Bells University of Technology. At Bells University of Technology, we strive to nurture scholars who combine technical excellence with ethical responsibility and societal relevance. This inaugural lecture, therefore, exemplifies our mission, which include fostering interdisciplinary collaboration, translating research into practice, and contributing to the health and dignity of community through science and innovation. We are therefore proud to provide a platform like this where scholarly excellence meets public service. So, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage every one of us here present to engage actively with Professor Damola's insights. Let's listen with intent, ask ourselves probing questions, and consider how the findings can be applied across the value chain, from water resources and hatcheries to markets and kitchens. The works of Professor Damola, which will be expanded before us today, has the potential to elevate food safety standards, protect public health, and strengthen livelihoods in Nigeria and beyond. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my gratitude to Professor Damola for sharing his expertise. The Department of Agriculture and Actuarial Technology, AAT, the College of Food, Agricultural Science and Technology, fondly called COLFAST, and all collaborators who have supported and are supporting this important work. I must also thank our students, industrial partners, funding bodies, alumni, and the broader Bells community for your ongoing commitment to excellence and service. As we proceed with today's program, let us affirm our shared commitment to ethical scholarship, evidence-based practice, and inclusive engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, my prayer is that this inaugural lecture will inspire rigorous inquiry, responsible leadership, and collaborative action that will advance safe, wholesome food system for public health. I want to thank you most immensely for joining us on this momentous occasion, signifying the last inaugural lecture that I, as the third Vice Chancellor, will be chairing. Thank you, and God bless you.
Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to invite the university orator to present the citation on the guest lecturer, university orator.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, standing on the existing protocol, Vice Chancellor, sir, I crave your indulgence to call on the inaugural lecturer of this afternoon in the person of Professor John Abiodun Daramola to kindly step forward to the podium for the reading of his citation. Thank you, sir. John Abiodun Daramola was born in Abeokuta, Ogun State, over 5 decades ago, a native of Ekiti and Ogun State. He began his formative education at St. Joseph's Primary School, Igbaraoke, Ondo State, between 1980 and 1986, and subsequently attended Anglican Grammar School, Igbaraoke, from 1987 to 1993. He proceeded to the Federal University of Technology, Akure, Futa, where he obtained a Bachelor of Agriculture Technology in Fisheries and Wildlife in the year 2000, Master of Agriculture Technology in Fisheries in 2005, and a Doctor of Philosophy in Fish Processing and Utilization in the year 2012. Professor Daramola is a professionally certified member of both the Fisheries Society of Nigeria and American Fisheries Society. His academic journey has been distinguished by several scholarships and awards, including member of the beneficiary team for a FUTA grant on the design and construction of a model fish smoking kiln in 2006. Ekiti State Government Postgraduate Scholarship for Doctoral Studies in 2008, member of the Education Collaborative Team, assessing faculty teaching gaps in West Africa, higher education institutions in the year 2024. Beneficiary of the Ekiti Future Agenda Awards 2025, and more recently, one of the recipients of the Meritorious Service Award at the Bells University of Technology, OTA, 20th anniversary in 2025. He has attended relevant local and international conferences and received the award as the Best Paper Presenter at the 10th London International Conference on Agriculture, Biological, Environmental, and Medical Sciences in the year 2018. His university work experience began as a teaching assistant at FUTA in July 2005. In October of the same year, he joined Bells University of Technology, OTA, where he has served as a lecturer and risen to become a professor of fish post-harvest quality and utilization, a position he has held since 1st of October 2023. Professor Daramola has served as external examiner to the Department of Fisheries, Lagos State University, Ojo, and Department of Entrepreneurship, National Open University of Nigeria, now. Outside Bells University of Technology, OTA, he has been a resource contact, academic coordinator, and biology tutor at the Center for the Gifted, Abuja, and fisheries officer with the Federal Department of Fisheries, Ado Ekiti. He has also served as a management consultant at the Center for Fish Processing and Value Addition, University of Lagos, and as a visiting lecturer at Covenant University, Ota. Professor Daramola has taught numerous courses and supervised many students at both undergraduate and postgraduate levels. He has published extensively, including journal articles and co-authored books. His research focuses on fish post-harvest technology, quality, and utilization, encompassing quality assurance, biotoxins, additives, preservatives, value addition, thermal processing, byproduct utilization, and heavy metal contamination, fish-borne pathogens, microbiological examination, and shelf life assessment. He has also studied traditional and improved smoking techniques, the profitability of the smoked fish market, and the physical, biochemical, and sensory attributes of processed fish. In Bells University of Technology, Ota, Professor John Abiodun Adaramola is a university orator and has served with outstanding qualities, unparalleled commitment in many academic, administrative committees and positions of responsibilities. These include several of them, from Pioneer Head, Department of Agriculture and Agricultural Technology 2023 till date, and a lot of them down to, from his first stint in the year 2009 to 2004, where he served as Secretary, Departmental Welfare Committee and Aquaculture and Fisheries Unit, to his most recent, which is the Pioneer Head, Department of Agriculture and Agricultural Technology. Beyond academia, Professor Daramola is actively involved in current affairs, football, and gospel music. He's an ordained minister and pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, having served as pastor in charge of parish and area at RCCG, City of Miracle, between 2014 and 2019. RCCG Abundant Testimony from 2019 to 2023, and currently as pastor in charge of parish area and zone, RCCG King's Chapel, since 2023. Also, he is a member of the Research and Development R&D of RCCG Ogun Province 14, Ota. He is happily married to Mrs. Bolanle Esther Daramola, and they are blessed with children. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Professor John Abiodun Daramola for today's inaugural lecture.
All the glory must be to the Lord, to the Lord. No man is worthy of our praise. No man on earth should give glory to himself. All the glory must be to the Lord. Let me start by appreciating the Almighty God for divine sustenance, protection, provision, and for making this day a reality. To him alone be all the glory. Standing on the already established, well-established protocol, I welcome all to the inaugural lecture titled From Water to the Table, Securing Safe and Wholesome Fish for Public Health. This is the second in the Department of Agriculture and Agricultural Technology, the third in the College of Food, Agricultural Science and Technology, and it is the 10th in this citadel of learning, Bells University of Technology, the first private university of technology in Nigeria. And spiritually, thank you. And spiritually, 10th is symbolic because it is a figure of completeness and represents double grace. My education trajectory. My primary and secondary education was at St. Joseph Primary School and Anglican Grammar School, Igbaroke. Let me say, I never planned out to study fisheries and wildlife. Because of my affinity for biology, I wanted to study medicine. But my jammed me that year, and I could not go on with that aspiration. Eventually, one of my mother's friends who works in the Futa Secondary School, helped me to collect my documents for admission. And I was happy because initially they said I would be in storage technology, which is under biology department. And I was hoping for that, only for them to tell me that they've given me admission in fisheries and wildlife. At the initial stage, I felt, what is the course all about? Because when we look at it individually, fisheries, wildlife might make meaning, but going to the university to study this, was new to me. And I decided to start with that so that I would do jump again. I tried the second time, but this time I feel geology in uni learning, having looked at the requirements that I committed. But unfortunately, I had a pass in physics. So at the point of screening, I was given admission. At the point of screening, I was denied. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir. Also, there was never a plan to be a lecturer. I remember at the sent forth of our graduating set in the year 2000, a question was posed: how many of you want to be lecturer? None of us signified our intention. With due apology to my supervisor here, we thought there is a better thing out there for us. But after my youth service, and I could not get a good job, and by encouragement of my supervisors, I went back for masters. At the end of the completion of my master's in July 2005, I was offered a job as a teaching assistant in Futa. And God willing, that same year in October, I got the job as assistant lecturer in Bells University of Technology, Ota, as part of the pioneer staff. Hence, if I look back and looking at the fact that there was this reluctance to be a lecturer, I was just thinking maybe it was a waste of time or somebody that did not see the future. Because all my life, I've been a teacher. From Graceland Nursery and Primary School in Igbaroke to Olufunmilayo Secondary School in Akure to Futa and now to Bells. So that has been the journey. So being a fish expert and lecturer today was never planned out. However, Wale Adenuga assertion says we are pencils in the hands of the Creator. And biblical verses, Jeremiah 1:5 and Jeremiah 29:11 readily comes to mind. God knows the end from the beginning. As a well-known fact, being a lecturer without PhD is like an apprentice whose job is not yet secured. The journey to my doctorate degree was not a walk in the park. I applied for PhD in the same department where I had my first degree and second degree, but I was denied PhD. The thesis, again, rear is ugly head. I was told, without credit in physics, you cannot progress. And I had to, that same year, sit as a teaching assistant. I sat with some of my students because I take tutorials and all that, general tutorials, and I met one of my students in the examination venue, and he had the courage. There were others. One of them came to me and asked, Ogakile and Shimbi, meaning, boss, what are you doing here? I said I came to do exam, but I could see vividly on him that he never believed me. He believed maybe I'm an impostor or maybe I'm a mercenary for somebody. But whatever the case, I passed the thesis examination and I was able to commence my PhD, and I graduated in 2012. Thank you. Distinguished audience, I can say that I was formed and made as a scholar in Federal University of Technology, Akure, but blossomed and flourished in Bells University of Technology, Ota. My introduction. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, as a prelude to today's lecture, I will explain the term fish. The term fish is a collection of edible aquatic animals, vertebrate and invertebrate, harvested or cultured from any water body for human consumption, nutrition, livelihood, and cultural practices. And this includes animals from the marine, freshwater, and they include finfish, cephalopods, crustaceans, cnidarians, echinodons, reptiles and amphibians, mollusks, mammals, and aquatic insects. This diagram shows it captures the aquatic animals, and in the general terms, they can all be regarded as fish. Contributions of fishery to the global economy. This finfish has contributed over 180 billion, while crustaceans 98 billion. So together, putting them together, you have 278 billion into the economy of the world. So, and by this, if you rely on fish as the only definition of fish, you will be missing out the crustaceans and the accurate figures will not be there. So by edible categories, we have the finfish, the crustaceans, the mollusks, and others. Now, health benefits of eating fish. It has been established that eating fish helps the cardiovascular health, cognitive health, fertile development, and reduce disease risk. So, I want to charge all of us that we should consider swapping red meats in some recipe for aquatic food, especially fish. Fish spoilage, preservation, and processing techniques. There are three basic mechanisms of fish spoilage. These are enzymatic autolysis, microbial spoilage, and lipid oxidation. However, there are some intrinsic properties and extrinsic properties that predisposes fish to spoilage. These are high moisture, pH, free amino acid, PUFA, that is unsaturated fatty acid, and extrinsic properties include temperature, those are external, handling and hygiene, aquatic environment, and species variability. Fish preservation is hinged, the traditional fish preservation methods is hinged on these 6 pillars. This is chilling method, freezing, fermentation, salting, drying, and smoking. And there are emerging non-thermal, that is without heat, preservation technologies. This includes the HIPP, the pulse electric field, PEF, the ultrasound, and the non-thermal atmospheric plasma and irradiation. And the packaging technologies in fish preservation includes modified atmosphere packaging, edible, coating, and natural antimicrobials, and odorless technique. In odorless technique, you combine some of these technologies together. Aquaculture has produced over 60% in terms of protein for Africa in developing countries like us. But ironically, approximately 35% or more are wasted annually. A typical case is the case of Tanzania, where lack of ice, that is ice block, and other infrastructures, and the distance between the capture and the market has led to serious spoilage. Research and contribution to knowledge. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, my first and second and third degrees in FUTA were in these areas of research. My BTech in the year 2000 was with this topic: harnessing of shrimp head waste in Nigeria for low-cost production of tilapia, Oreochromis niloticus. My second degree in 2005 was in the area of fisheries with the title Physical and Chemical Changes in Some Commercially Smoked Fish Species During Storage, while my PhD in 2012 was on construction of a model fish smoking kiln using agro waste as fuel and quality assessment of the smoked fish on storage. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I've also been privileged to write 2 books co-authored with some of my colleagues. These are Shodamola Adeyemi and Daramola 2015, with title Approach to Aquaculture in West Africa, and also Shodamola and Daramola 2012, with the title Fish Aquaculture, Disease and Processing. These are the front pages of the textbooks. Academic contributions. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, and distinguished audience, for clarity and simplicity of this inaugural lecture, my research contributions will be partitioned into works that have been done in this underlisted area. So what I've done is to partition my work into these 6 major areas. These are fish and human nutrition, aquaculture and inland fish production, biochemical and sensory analysis of fish, technology in fishery, fish microbiology, public health, and fish. In the area of fish and human nutrition, are published extensively as listed. But our focus is the work by Wana and Daramola 2000, harnessing of shrimp head waste in Nigeria for low-cost production of tilapia. This paper highlighted waste to wealth. Shrimp head waste was used as sustainable source of low-cost protein substitute in tilapia feed. A creative and a circular solution to the problem. Shrimp head waste, which is a discarded part of the shrimp, that's the head, was processed and used to replace expensive fish meal in the diet of the Nile tilapia. Therefore, Unwana and Daramola 2000 formulated 5 isonitrogenous diets of different protein percentage, and it was replaced in different percentages: 0%, 15, 30, 45, and 60 inclusion levels over a 56-day feeding trial in a recirculatory system. The growth parameters were assessed, and the results were remarkably positive. The apparent digestibility coefficients were high across all diets, ranging from 88.1% to 97.9%, indicating that tilapia readily accepted and efficiently utilized the shrimp head-based diets. Most striking were the economic results. As this shrimp head whale inclusion increased, the cost of producing 1 kilogram of diet decreased progressively from $3.60 to 2.54. This is projected at with projected production cost analysis shows that incorporating shrimp head meal at 60% reduced the cost of feed drastically. At 430 per ton is being saved, a substantial saving for commercial fish farming. The paper concluded that shrimp head meal can replace up to 60% of fish meal in tilapia diets without compromising the growth or nutrient neutralization, while simultaneously solving a major waste disposal problem and reducing feed costs. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, when we talk about the cost of feed, it takes about 70% of the cost of production. This is a table that shows the nutrient utilization parameters. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, on the area of aquaculture and inland fisheries, these are the works that I have carried out. But our focus is Daramola JA and Oshofero SA, Kesta City, and Gbadamosi OK 2007. This paper is titled Overview of the Status of Aquaculture in Nigeria, with particular reference to Ekiti State. The paper reviewed aquaculture in Ekiti State, a landlocked state in southwest Nigeria, created in 1996 over a period of 8 years, between 1996 and 2003. The study revealed that Ekiti State, with a population estimated at 1.75 million upon creation, had a fish demand of approximately 26,325 metric tons per annum, and had total annual fish production of only 249.17 metric tons from artisanal fisheries and aquaculture. And the state has about 7 dams, supporting about 400 fishermen, producing annual yield of 115,877.50 kg. Despite the fact that there was yearly increase in production, the state of aquaculture development in Ekiti has not kept pace with the growing human population and demand, a situation reflective of the broad challenge facing Nigeria aquaculture. The study identified numerous problems militating against fish culture in Nigeria, to include untimely funding of fishery projects and research, lack of reliable data for effective planning, scarcity and high cost of fish input, ineffective extension officer services, misplaced priority with more emphasis on industrial and artisanal fishery to the detriment of aquaculture, invalidity of fish seed due to ineffective hatcheries, lack of fish seed industry, lack of finance and access to credit and loan for prospective fish farmers, lack of patronage and promotion of fish farmers. The study concluded that while aquaculture in Nigeria can be described as fairly developed, much remains to be done. And with better planning, incentive, and commitment, Nigeria can drastically reduce or eliminate fish importation and ensure that that aquaculture takes its rightful place in the forefront of fish production to achieve national and food security in the nearest future. This is the map of the Ekiti that was reviewed. In the area of biochemical and sensory analysis of fish, these are the work that have been carried out. However, I want to make particular reference to Daramola, Fashakin, and Adiparusi in 2007 with the title Changes in Physicochemical and Sensory Characteristics of Smoked Dry Fish Stored at Ambient Temperature. This study assessed the comparative changes in physical and chemical components of 5 different species of smoked fish, which are fresh fish. These are Heterotis niloticus, Labio coupe, Parashana obscura, Oreochromis niloticus, and Clarias gariepinus. The fish were smoked to average moisture content of 10.41 plus or minus 0.02% and stored. The fish were packed in containers and they were stored in plastic baskets for a period of 56 days at ambient temperature, between 25 to 32. Samples of fish were assessed weekly for physical attributes such as color, fragmentation, odor, taste, and texture. Proximate composition was assessed using changes in moisture, crude, lipid, and ash. The biochemical indices were assessed. These were TVN, total volatile nitrogen, pH, peroxide value, and free fatty acid. There was a great decline in physical attributes, which were the color, the fragments, the taste, and the texture. During the study, the moisture content increased weekly in the 5 fish smoking. This could be attributed to the difference in the moisture between the fish and the surrounding. O niloticus and Heterotis niloticus are the best taste scored. Apart from Parashana obscura, the other fatty fish, that is the Clarias gariepinus and the Labio coupe, became less firm as the weeks progressed. There were significant changes in most of the physical and chemical characteristics except odor from the 6th week. There was also significant difference between the initial and the final values of proximate and chemical constituents of the different fish species. The study showed that keeping quality of small fish under ambient condition, because knowing fully well that in Africa and tropical, subtropical Africa, technology for storage, electricity are not there. It shows that under ambient condition, we should not store fish up to 42 days. So, and this shows the graph of the increase in the TVN, which is an indicator of spoilage. In the area of technology in fisheries, we have adopted at various times the use of technology in fisheries. This includes development of the model rotary fish smoking kiln using agro waste as source of fuel. This machine was developed with a combination of experts from fisheries, from food science, and agric engineering. Also, in the year 2013, there was a work between AZK Daramola et al., in which we look at the neural network system for determining the optical profitability of small fish business in Nigeria. Also, Fayomi, Musa, and Daramola 2022 look at designing and fabrication of hybrid cabinet dryer. Shotonwa, Daramola, and Baja 2023, we use development of recurrent neural network to analyze computational records of smoked fish mongers. Those are sellers. And Kester, Daramola et al., 2024, we deployed use of nanoparticles, nanotechnology, in the topic microbiological quality of Gadus morua treated with silver nanoparticles synthesized with lana leaves. But our focus is the work by Fashakin, Daramola, and Famurewa 2009, in which there was development of a model rotatory fish smoking kiln using agro waste as source of fuel. Hitherto, charcoal has been used as source of energy in drying fish. So this work tried to look at substitutes that can be used and reduce the cost of drying fish. And in this case, there were 5 agro wastes sawdust, palm kernel, shell, rice bran, and the charcoal. And the Carias grypinus was the fish that was used. The smoking kiln has an estimated capacity of 40 kilograms of fish or batch of fish per batch, and there are 6 trays with 36 fish hooks. The heat transfer was by conduction and convention. The rotatory wheel and axle on which the fish drying trays were anchored ensured even distribution of heat. The kiln has 69.4% energy efficiencies and dry period of 10 hours at an average temperature of 60 to 120 degrees Celsius, depending on the type of agro waste used as fuel energy. The fuel conversion rate, the drying rates, and the calorific value of the different agro waste products were also determined. The calorific value of the 4 agro waste range between 16.2 megajoules per kg in palm kernel to 30 megajoules per kilogram in charcoal. In essence, it shows that palm kernel generated the lowest heat. The drying rate of sawdust and rice bran compare favorably with charcoal, and they produce smoked fish similar in dryness and quality with fish smoked with charcoal. Palm kernel recorded the least drying rate of smoked fish in terms of weight per hour during the 10-hour smoking duration. The study revealed that agro waste such as sawdust and rice bran, which are relatively cheap, are good substitutes to conventionally used charcoal in terms of heat generation and effectiveness. Palm kernel shell is not recommended because of the druggery associated with the fanning. You need to fan it every time, just like the goldsmiths and the blacksmiths. You have to fan it for it to continue to burn. So the druggery associated with palm kernel and the slow burning process makes it not to be recommended. The Futa model fish smoking kiln is recommended to fish processor and other government agencies because of the unique quality of the kiln, such as the capacity, utilizations, the heat and smoke regulation, and the quality of the smoked fish products. This is the diagram that shows the details of the Futa model fish smoking kiln. It has compartment, the drying compartment, it has trays, and which can rotate at intervals to get even distribution. Fish microbiology. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I must say that the bulk of my work in recent time, especially in Bells University of Technology, has been in this area. And let me use this opportunity to appreciate members of the Department of Biological Sciences. Like I said, thank you. I was employed in 2005 as a lecturer in fisheries and aquaculture with possible option of teaching marine biology. But we never had students. And thank God, my specialization is in the area of fish processing and utilization. So I had to work closely with a microbiologist at any particular time. And that was how I was able to publish this much in this area. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I must appreciate everyone in that Department of Biological Sciences, that tolerated me, that accommodated me, that opened their hands for me to publish with them over this year. Thank you. So these are the list of research work carried out in fish microbiology. Our focus is Daramola, Kester, and Ibirunke 2011, titled Evaluation of some Microbiological and Biochemical Qualities of Atlantic Cod from Selected Frozen Depot in Songwater. The study was designed to investigate the effect of duration of frozen storage on biochemical and microbiological qualities of Atlantic cod. Frozen fish samples from design depot in Northern Metropolis, Ogun State, were used. The fish samples were coded XYZ, were subjected to 10 weeks of frozen storage at -15 to -19 degrees Celsius and analyzed weekly. The total count of sample X was the highest at 5.2 times 10 raised to the power 3 CFU per gram, while that of Z are the lowest with 3.3 times 10 raised to the power 3 CFU per gram. The total coliform count of samples X was 25 mpn per gram, and the sample Y was 10 mpn per gram, and there was no coliform count in sample Z. The occurrence of vibro species was relatively low in all the samples. The count reduced inconsistently in sample S and sample Y, and was not present at all in sample Z. Total volatile nitrogen of the samples increased while the pH level and the crude protein content decreased in the weekly analysis. At the end of the 10 weeks of storage in the freezer, the fish samples were still fit for consumption, as there was no drastic degradation of their microbiological and biochemical characteristics. In terms of assessed overall quality, sample Z was the best. It was concluded that freezing and storing procedure could not destroy the microorganism totally, but remain one of the best methods or ways of preserving fish in its wholesome, fresh state up to 2.5 months and even more. So this is the diagram of the total plate count. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, the last segment of my work is in the area of public health and fish. And these are the works that have been carried out that has to do with the quality of the fish in which we consumers, or we as people, put in our mouth. I've worked on microflora associated with smoked shrimps. These are ready to eat shrimps in some markets in Nota. And also incidence of pathogenic bacteria in frozen mackerel in Nota. Implications of processing and handling methods to the microbial quality of stored fried fish. Antifungal potential of black mangrove leaf extract on isolate of smoked bonga fish samples from Ojuri and Iano markets. And also assay of the bacterial flora in the gut, in the gills, and flesh of fresh catfish. And also evaluation of bacteria of public health importance in fresh lagoon fish retailed in Oyibo Market, Lagos. And also bacteria assessment of retail smoked edible frog. And by this, you can see that my definition of fish cut across the conventional fish, because I've worked on frog before. And lastly, bacteriological assessment of ready-to-eat fried prawns retailed in selected locations in Lagos mainland. Our focus is the work by Daramola Kester and Adeleye 2018. This work, titled Microflora Associated with Smoked Shrimps in some markets in Nota Metropolis, Ogun State. This research was aimed at assessing the microorganisms associated with smoked shrimps from the 3 market locations in Ota Metropolis. The samples were collected from Yanoyesi and Songo areas of the town. 6 samples of shrimps were purchased from the various market locations from 2 different retailers in each market per trial. The period of research was 3 weeks. The total bacterial count for all the samples ranged from 1.5 times 10 raised to the power 1 CFU ml to 17.6 10 raised to the power 1 CFU ml per ml. The microorganisms isolated and identified in the various markets imply that the bacteria genera, the Staphylococcus aureus and the Citrobacter species dominated the samples, while the fungal genera that occurred most frequently in the samples were Aspergillus niger. The isolated bacteria have been implicated in the various health risks such as food poisoning, food spoilage, and medical complications. The research highlights the health importance or implications to consumers and the public health significance. The study recommended that there should be proper post-harvest technologies and good hygiene practice of shrimp as an alternative source of animal protein and seafood. Efforts should be geared towards awareness programs among food vendors about safe and hygiene practices and its importance to the health of man. Also, consumers also need to recognize that a healthy food means a healthy body. Hence, shrimp and other ready-to-eat food. When we say ready-to-eat, these are the things that we just pick and eat without cooking or processing. From open market, should be processed further through what? Washing and eating. This is a sample of the smoked shrimps. Further area of research. Ladies and gentlemen, hitherto are taught that attaining the rank of professor, the highest level of academic achievement, will be a position of rest. However, I have since discovered that this height, in fact, is the gateway to a chapter of unlimited work. I must pay my gratitude to the Vice Chancellor of this university, Professor J.O. Ojediran, who established the Center for Agri Technology, and which will midwife the College of Food, Agricultural Technology, Agricultural Science and Technology, and also gave birth to the Department of Agriculture and Agricultural Technology. I've been privileged to have led this college, the center, and the department at different times. I thank you, sir. So, future focus for me are ensuring quality and safe fish for public health. Specifically, research work will be directed in these areas. One, the effect of phenol in small fish and the consumers. There are publications that talks about the effect of phenols in some of these small fish. So I want to dig further. Secondly, the consequence of microplastics and contaminants in fish and man. It has been established that microplastics have now been found in human semen and urine. And once they are found in human semen and urine, by implication, they can be found in fish because we do discharge our plastic waste into water bodies. And fishes inadvertently will pick or bite out of these plastics. And even if they don't bite out of these plastics, plastic is not biodegradable. It breaks down in bits over a long number of years. So there is established fact that some of these microplastics are in the fish, and man will consume fish, and with implied health implications and all that. So further work will be in that area. Then thirdly, and lastly, effort will be geared in developing the rapid diagnostic test for detection of fish spoilage. Because some of us will go to markets. When you buy the fish, they are hard and they seems okay until when you boil them. When you boil them, you now know that you bought a spoiled fish. And by that time, you cannot return it back. So what I am looking at is a rapid diagnostic test, just like our own POS, a machine that is readily accessible and present, that can be carried, so that at random, even at the ports, we can pick and assess the quality of fish that is being imported into Nigeria. Ongoing research work, effect of smoke and oven drying methods on the quality and stability of dried fish samples, dried tilapia fish samples. That is being supervised by myself and Alamu EA. Also, prevalence of antibiotic-resistant bacteria in fresh catch fish sold for human consumption in Ota, being supervised by myself and Umanu G. Community and public engagement. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I've engaged in community and public engagement and have carried out some of the research to the benefit of the public and the community. This diagram shows the work I did as the pioneer director of the Center for Agricultural Technology and Entrepreneurial Studies, in which we partnered with the Bells Consult Limited for the pilot fish project. Plastic tanks were purchased for fish rearing on campus for training, research, and commercial purposes. 2 cycles of fish culture and harvest have so far been concluded. We can see the Vice Chancellor there at the time with the University UL at the commissioning of the first cycle. Also, I've taken extensively the research work here to the public through newspaper publications in Daily Independent and Business Day. I published in Daily Independent the gains from the efficient agro-waste fish smoking machine, and also in the Daily Business Day, I published on the significance of fish safety. By this, I have tried to engage the public, to educate the public on the significance and the importance of knowing what they actually consume as fish. Also, I've been to media stations, lectures in schools and places such as Channels Television, Business Day, Jordan FM, Daily Independent, Oba FM, and schools to encourage the young ones, like the Little Saint Primary School Altar, Bell Secondary School, Dallas Secondary School, ARC Foundation Secondary School, and the FUTA Alumni General Meeting. And this is another publication in which it was titled Students Charged to Take Advantage of Opportunities in Education. Recommendations. Traditional techniques such as chilling, freezing, salting and smoking, drying, and fermentation remain the backbone of global fish processing. As global demand for fish continues to grow and pressure on natural fish stocks intensify, reducing post-harvest losses through scientifically robust, economically accessible, and environmentally responsible preservation technologies become an increasingly urgent priority. Future research should prioritize the translation of mechanistic understanding into practical, affordable, and culturally appropriate preservation strategies that can be deployed at scale in tropical developing country contexts, where the burden of postgraduate fish loss is greatest and where food security stakes are highest. Acknowledgements. I immensely thank God Almighty who has brought me to this academic height of a professor, the pinnacle of academic pursuit. This is a divine privilege. And the scriptures says, for promotion comments neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But God is the judge. He putted down one and set up another. And also in the book of John 3:24, says, a man cannot receive nothing. A man can receive nothing except it's given him from heaven. He has been my strength. His grace, mercy, and guidance and protection has been sufficient for me. To God be the glory. Importantly, I express my deep appreciation to my research collaborators. Some of them are here. Dr. Yemi Gbadamosi, Dr. Ken Deshotonwa, Dr. Bolanle Opere, Dr. Dupe Shodamola, Dr. Titilayo Kesta, Dr. Kazim Akiwumi, Dr. Felix Alau, Dr. Olumuyiwa, Dr. Anemene, Dr. Ezeki, and late Dr. Tolulope Oladosu. May his soul rest in peace. Also, I'm grateful to all who provided inputs and contributed to the review of this write-up. I want to say specifically and thank the University Librarian, Dr. Felicia Yusuf, Professor Fayomi, Professor Ademola, Dr. Desmond, Dr. Kasali, Dr. Dudu, Miss Simi, Olamide Daramola, and my wife, Mrs. Bolani Daramola. Let me state, in actual fact, the topic was modified by her. She assisted in giving the right topic for the day. Thank you. Furthermore, I acknowledge the gratitude of my teachers and friends for my highly educations in primary and secondary schools. My appreciation extends to friends in Nigeria and abroad. Dr. Oshufero, Dr. Ajiboye, Dr. Adedipe, Professor Akintude Ajagbe, the Edu Collaborative Team, Dr. Peter Bankole, Rita, Rose Dodd, Engineer Adebayo, Professor Bimbe, Professor Tayo George, Dr. Ayonda from Covenant University, and also I can see my friend, Professor Wakin. I appreciate you, all from CU. Then Dr. Ben Anemene, Dr. Sylvester Kuru from Redeemers University, and also Dr. Mrs. Kayode from Babcock University, and Dr. Kayode Ishola Tayo from Laswed. And not forgetting my neighbor, Dr. and Matron Gundari. They have been a good friend to me. I want to divinely acknowledge the RCCG families. I believe members of the R&D are present here. If you are here, please signify the members of the R&D. Yes, I appreciate you. I must say I appreciate my senior pastor and Pastor Mrs. Adiola Adenuga, Pastor Bosun Oguru, Pastors Babatunde Afilaka, Pastor Adiabu, Professor Meleye, and Pastor Shino Omitogun, Pastor Bemiga Shueto, Pastor Wulabi Adeyemi, Pastor Gabriel Afolabi, Pastor Shola Babalola, Pastor Lawson Awunuga, Pastor Bamidele Jolayemi, Pastor Oluwani, Pastor Odusi, Pastor Philip Alabi, Dr. Shino and Mrs. Fumbi Akiyoku, and also Mr. and Mrs. Bolade Odunfa. I appreciate every member that have worked with me in the R&D team of Ogun Province 14, Miracle Center, City of Miracle, Abundant Testimony, King Chapel. God bless you all. Special thanks goes to the staff and students of biological science under our leader and mother, Professor Kuforiji, Professor Ayakura, Dr. Gushola, Dr. Manu, Dr. Alau, and everyone in the department. In addition, I appreciate the alumni who have passed through me at different times. Thank you for being exemplary students. I'm grateful to the staff and students of COFAS, led by our own Professor Augustine Omoike, the seamless professor, and our leader, Professor OAB Ogumoela. We thank you, sir, for being a father to us and be a leader. Thank you, sir. Your presence here is highly appreciated. Professor Arisa, Professor Olurin, Professor Eninalobo, who is one of the most tolerant and peaceful man that I've ever met. Also, not forgetting the HOD, Dr. A.E. Alamu, the DAPA, and the humble Baba Alamu. We appreciate you. And not forgetting my sister from the same roots, Dr. C.T. Kester. Distinguished audience, I owe a special debt to my supervisor, my academic father, and mentor in FUTA, Professor Emmanuel Adedayo Fashaki. Please stand up for recognition. He has traveled all the way from FUTA to honor me. Sir, I thank you. I have learned immensely from him. Your tutelage has been profound and impactful. You have contributed greatly to my academic progress. I'm forever grateful. Also, I thank Professor Bolero for coming, Professor Adebayo, and also not forgetting Professor Eunice Adeparusi. She has been a mother and guiding one light in the journey, in this academic journey. And also Professor Balogun, Professor Fagbero, Professor Belu Olusoji, Professor Owana, and my good friends and brothers, they are here. Professor O.M. Popola, and Associate Professor O.K. Gbadamosi, Mr. Ujola, I say thank you all. Meanwhile, I acknowledge and appreciate all who have worked with me in the past in BUPF executives and chairmen, Mr. Karim, Mr. Obot, Mr. Dosumu, Mr. Oladapo, and the incumbent, Mrs. Ayopanle, the acting dean of students and even director of kids, people like Dr. Adetutu, Dr. Kafilat Odeshola, Dr. Matthew Oke, Dr. Tobi Balogun, Dr. Tungu, Mama Oluwatu Misile, Mrs. Omoniyi, Mr. Adebola, Mr. Akindele, the all officials and porters, and the core members and the students on industrial attachment that have worked with me in the past, such as Sonjo, Precious, Glory, Miriam, Dele, Ayo, and others. My gratitude also goes to my farmers' friends. Do we have the Inaugural Lecture group here? Please stand up for recognitions. And also Mrs. Busayo, the farmers group, thank you. Mrs. and the IITA group, Mrs. Avian, Mary, Faith, Pastor Malamzu of Vamias Farmyard, Mr. Jayoba, the Annual Farmers Associations, Mr. Opade, and Mrs. Busayo. Permit me to use this medium to thank my past vice chancellors and leaders, Professor Okoje, Professor Adeyemi, Professor and Dr. Olusegun Areola, Professor I. Babalola, and Professor I. Fawole. Also my colleagues and friends, such as Professor Lawrence Imopari, Dr. Kazim Akiumi, as well as members of the CODD, Senate, colleges, units, and Bells University community at large. May I humbly mention the following persons as a point of contact to you all. Professor Olubukola Kuforidi for the College of Postgraduate Studies, Professor Atase for Coolness, Professor Shomuiwa for Coolmans, Professor Olamide Olusoya for College, Dr. Abejide Adegoke for Colcom, Dr. Atinuke Orekon for Colems, Dr. Malachi Senfeld, Dr. Timi Tope Akwilishi for the clinic, Dr. Adeyinka Badmus for the bursary, Mr. Agbenga Adelowa and Mr. Rotimi Orowale for registry staffs, and my brother and friend, distinguished Professor Ojo Fayomi, the DAP. To the university management team, I say thank you. I appreciate the protocol and the officials registrar, Mr. L.S. Tafa, my uncle and my calm attitude bossa, Mr. Shino Adepoj, the ever-current and digital university librarian, Dr. Felicia Yusuf, my sister and colleague, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Ngozi Arisa. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to express my special appreciation to my Vice Chancellor, Professor Jeremiah Oludele Ojejiro. Sir, you are indeed a father and the helper of destiny. Under your leadership, I gained both academic and administrative experience by virtue of the opportunities granted me to lead in various capacities. The peak was my nomination for Deputy Vice Chancellor. Thank you, sir, for the past platform for capacity development and the trust reposed in me. Thank you for creating COFAS, for creating the Department of Agriculture, with options in fisheries and animal science to properly situate my discipline, professorship, and relevance in the university. You are indeed an unforgettable leader. Thank you, and God bless you. God will bless you, God will bless your family, and God will bless your generation. In Jesus' name. To my late father, Engineer Johnson Daramola, and my mother here, Deaconess Felicia Mosumola Daramola. I thank God today because she's alive to see what Biodun has become. Through our education, my parents could put themselves for sale for me to study. They can sell their last wrapper for me to go to school. They can borrow from the devil only to see that my education is not stopped. I thank you so greatly. To my brothers, Brother Gbenga Oloriebi, Engineer Dari, and my brother, Dr. Kule, you have been a great supporter of this academic journey. I am eternally grateful to you. To the entire Daramola family of Ayede Ekiti, I want to thank my dear sister here, Mrs. Niniola, for being a good representative of my family. Please stand up for recognition, ma. She is Ni Daramola, and she has come to represent the entire Daramola family of Ayede Ekiti. Thank you, ma'am. I thank Auntie Oyinda, we call her Mama, Alaja Monisola, Mrs. Dupe Ademilua, and to the Ajayi family. I thank Mommy Taiwo, Mommy Sheung for being there. I also thank the Baale of Alimafu, Chief Robert Olufemi Ajayi, for your presence. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And the wife, Mrs. Bolanle Ajayi, who is the Deputy Speaker of Ogun State House of Assembly. Thank you. To Mrs. Buki Ajayi, Mrs. Adebola and Tinimota, I thank you for being there for me. To the Ajayi descendants and my in-laws, not forgetting the presence of Pastor C.S.A. Adebayo. Please stand up for recognition, please. That's my in-law. So that they will not come back to collect their daughter from me. I thank you with his daughter's blessing and the other sister for coming. Thank you for making my day. Mrs. Comfort Omoli, Mrs. Kayode, Brother Demola, and Brother Babatunde Adebayo, I thank you all. May I use this opportunity to deeply appreciate the kind gestures of the Committee of Friends in and out of Bells University of Technology, ably coordinated by Dr. Felix Alao and greatly supported by my good friend and brother, Professor Taiwo Olufemi Olurin, Dr. Bello, Mrs. Adeniji, and Mrs. Tajudin. May God repay you all in Jesus' name. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, as I wind down this inaugural lecture, I want to specifically appreciate my immediate family, my darling wife, my lover, the wife of my youth, my encourager, my better half, my confidant, the ever constructive in-house guardian. Some call her my manager, physical and spiritual partner, Mrs. Bolanle Esther Daramola. I must say, being a professor has been by her push. She will always ask, paper made letiko. Her own say pass, won't pass me. Thank you for the encouragement. But I must also say that I've encouraged her, I've rubbed out on her too. At least under my roof. She has had up to 3, 4, or 5 degrees now. And she's on her PhD. So I've so she's coming up. She's getting there. Thank you for being there always. Thank you for your prayers, support, and everything. I love you forever. To my princess, ladies and angels, Olamide, Iretomiwa, and Oluwadara. I thank you for being wonderful gifts from God. I love you all. Finally, to all those whose paths have crossed mine, from my cradle to this day, to all who have traveled and are present here, physical and virtual, who have not been mentioned or listed in these inaugural booklets, I say thank you all. You have all imparted my life, and you are greatly appreciated. Thank you for listening, and God bless. Studio, please, as we round up, studio, please, the last slides. There are some selected pictures that I want us to just see as we round up. Studio, yeah, shut it down. Don't shut it down. Sorry, this is the fish king presented at a conference, and the other one is at the conference in London. Why this shows the picture of my late father after my graduation at first degree, and my mother at second degree, and my brothers, the 4 Jolly brothers, and my immediate family at my third degree. Thank you for listening, and God bless.
Can you stay there? May I invite you to present a copy of your lecture to the Vice Chancellor? Kindly be seated, please. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are gradually moving closer to the end of the program. Let me invite the Vice Chancellor for his closing remarks. Vice Chancellor, sir.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me this time romance the existing and well-established protocol If you've enjoyed this lecture, please clap. If you have learned anything new in this lecture, please clap. If you now know the difference between fish and fish, clap. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to Professor Daramola. I'm sure we've gained one thing or the other from this. Your definition of fish has updated our knowledge. Obviously, we all thought fish was just the one we see every day in the market. It goes beyond that. And that's the essence of knowledge. That's the essence of knowledge and essence of, one of the essence of an inaugural lecture like this, to update our knowledge. I want to thank you very much for the double grace on you and your life. You have gone through quite a lot of things, and I don't want to recapitulate, but just recognize the Professor Fashakin. Can you please rise up again? When a professor supervises a student, and the student rises to become a professor, to the point of giving his inaugural lecture, I think it's a clip to your cap. Let's give him another round of applause. We thank you for your mentorship, for your support, for your prompting him all to this stage, and most importantly, for coming to the soil, on the soils of Bells University of Technology, Ota. Thank you so much for coming. God bless you. The lecture today has gone beyond fish. It has taught us a lot of things, particularly in terms of public health, what we need to do, how we need to do them. The excerpts of your researches have assisted us to know the processes and the procedures, the rigorous procedures that researchers go through to come out with just one outcome. I think we should give him another round of applause. He has done that explicitly today. I want to thank you for making FUTA proud, making Bells prouder. Yes, so the Bells Tech students, give yourself a round of applause. Bells Tech staff, please do the same. In closing your lecture, I'm glad to note that you are not stopping at that point. There are snippets for future research, future researches, and that's highly commendable. It is to state that this is not the end of your road. It is another midway, another milestone that you are crossing. You still have college lecture, you still have valediction lecture, which I'm sure you would prepare for and will be another resounding success for you. I want to also personally recognize the mother of Professor Daramola. Mama, thank you for coming. When your children move to this point, you know what it means. Like Yoruba say, you almost stumble. Congratulations, and thank you for mentoring this erudite professor. Thank you, Mama. Please be seated. Thank you. For everyone who's been here, I'm sure at the appropriate time, the registrar will recognize you and give a vote of thanks. Before I sit down, before I go back to my seat, did you say the love of your life? But you forgot one thing, the one who fed him. You had good food. That's why you could stay till now. I saw the picture when you were graduating at, and I was asking DVC, is that Daramola? So, Mrs. Daramola, thank you very much for doing the needful and for giving that prompting, the prompting required. But thank you for recasting the topic and made it very attractive and made us to wait to really hear from him. Thank you and God bless you. Once again, for everyone who is here present, it's been a very good day. And the 10th inaugural lecture of Bells University of Technology has been presented ably by Professor Damola. Thank you for your thoughtfulness. That was quite deep. Grace continue to be with you. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Let me request the Vice Chancellor to kindly remain standing for the presentation of plaque to the lecturer.
This plaque is being presented as an award of excellence to Professor, the inaugural lecturer of today, John Abiodun Daramola, who was presented the 10th inaugural lecture titled From Water to the Table, Securing Safe and Wholesome Fish for Public Health. Today, Wednesday, 24th June, 2026. Congratulations. God bless. I'm presenting this to Professor Daramola. Like I said earlier, this is the last inaugural lecture that Mr. Shina Adikojo and I will be attending officially. Thank you for putting the icing on our cake by presenting this wonderful lecture. Thank you, and God bless you as you go. This is from Bells University of Technology. Well, you will remain here and move to the top.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to express my sincere appreciation to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Jeremiah Oludele Ojediran, for providing the enable environment for this lecture to hold. Thank you, sir. Let me also express my sincere appreciation to all the principal officers here present, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, the bursar, the University Librarian. I also express my sincere appreciation to all the deans here present, all professors, all heads of department, and all our distinguished invitees for honoring this invitation. I thank the family members of Professor Daramola for coming to honor him at this occasion. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me at this juncture to express our sincere appreciation to the lecturer of today, Professor John Daramola, for delivering a very fantastic lecture. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for coming to grace this occasion. Thank you very much. Shall we rise for the university anthem and the national anthem?
Stands a citadel of erudition, learning life bells, University of Tech, in glory.
national anthem.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
There will be group photograph, members of Senate with the principal officers and the guest lecturer, and the members of the families of the guest lecturer. Shall we remain standing while the academic procession leave in reverse order led by the Vice Chancellor? Thank you.